Okay, we are live. Welcome to the stream and welcome to the watch party. We are playing the Miami Heat today again. It seems like we've played this team already like 15 times this season, so another crack at them, but this time a much weaker Miami we're facing. Their starting five, as you can see, is Kyle Lowry, Jaquez, Highsmith, not Highwood, Bryant, and Jay Rich. Thomas, welcome to the stream, buddy. So yeah, the Heat are missing Bam Adebayo, and they're also missing Jimmy Butler, and they're also missing not DeJounte Murray. I just saw him on the screen here. Tyler Hero, they're also missing. So their three best players are out. We obviously are still missing a couple, but that being said, absolutely no excuses with the team we've got compared to theirs. I mean, our starting five, matches up pretty well against theirs. Same five as the previous game. We had 4 players score 20 or more, and that was on the back of us having 18 extra possessions in comparison to other games this season. So, that was a game that well and truly was a missed opportunity on our front. Duncan Robinson is the other player out for Miami, and he torched us the last time. He was very similar to the role that DeAndre Hunter played for them in that last game we just played, because they needed a player that could stabilize the offense with DeJounte not really firing and Trae Young also having a little bit of difficulty in the middle portion of the game. But Hunter was there, and so was Duncan Robinson in our previous meeting. Like, when they needed a big bucket and Adebayo and Butler, those outlets were closed off. Players like Duncan Robinson got the job done, but they're missing that. Jaquez is averaging 19 points a game for them, so this could be a guy that catches fire. He's 57% from 3 in those 3 games, so he could be a little bit of an issue to deal with. Daniel Berry, welcome to the stream, buddy. Thanks for tuning in. And thanks to those who are just slowly filing in right now. Miracle Tree, welcome. Make sure to say hello in chat and just check in. Interesting comments by JV in the last couple of days. Post-game against Atlanta and then pre-game today. A lot of the time he's just said that, oppositions are going to make shots, and we're doing a good job at protecting the rim. That's by his words. Effective field goal percentage isn't half bad. Well, that's not the point, because we just conceded. I know we had an overtime period, but we conceded in regulation 130 points. What, we're just going to keep giving up threes because they're lower percentage? Well, they're hitting them. Don't give them that opportunity. If you have the opportunity to close them out and not concede the wide open three, then don't. We have the second worst defensive rating in the last 3 games at 128. That is just atrocious. I'll actually read some quotes by JV word for word. We've played some high-level dudes who have been able to score the basketball. You've got to approach this thing similar to football sometimes. What are you going to try to take away? The way our group is, the guys that we are playing, I've got to use what strengths they have until we're back whole and healthy. A big piece of that is we have to give away something. So we have to try to command something every night. We're not going to be able to out-rebound a person, out-shoot them, stop them from shooting threes, stop them from pick and rolls. Well, I disagree. You can. With this group that you've got, we have to pick our poison. Some nights we've been rewarded and we've had to pay the costs some nights. That's just a part of it, especially the way we are right now. I don't think you can make excuses. I just don't think you can make excuses. An interesting thing, though, is that the lineup that we are starting tonight are the only lineup that have played 60 minutes or more this season. And they've been really good. A plus 15 net rating, 121 offensive rating, 106 defensive rating. So they've been really good. It's just going to be a matter of, well, do we see that consistency that we are, seeking? In a game like today, this is absolutely a must-win. Absolutely a must-win, because Well, they've got absolutely no one. In previous games, Hero, like the first meeting, Hero torched us. Then he got injured. Um, so for the second meeting, we didn't have Hero, but Bam and Butler went nuts. Not really Bam and Robinson for that matter. And then today they've lost Bam, Hero, Hero was already out. Bam, Butler, and Robinson. So the game following, the players that torched us are now out. So if this win could not be delivered anymore to us on a platter. What do you think about the Josh Giddey situation? Josh Giddey situation is a storm in a teacup. How old was the girl? I mean, a lot of it's allegation at the moment. So until it comes to a close and there's a little bit more clarity on the situation, then you can actually talk about it. A lot of it's just rumors, unless I've seen something or I haven't seen something that has actually been reported. But yeah, I mean, it's just the shit situation anyway. Like, he should not be doing that. Under any circumstance, you're in such a good situation, and to just do something as stupid and naive as that is just, well, it's a bit shambolic if we're being completely honest. But yeah, I mean, things like that will continue to happen as long as, the league lets it slide. That's, of course, if it's actually got credit or credibility to it. So, I mean, you can't always... misinformation can spread easily. I think, misinformation potentially could have happened, but we as I said, that's all speculative. So, yeah. But obviously, if it gets proven that he was with someone underage, well, yeah, he's got to get the proper punishment because absolutely unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable. No two ways about it. Love that word shambolic. Well, yeah, it is. 100% it was shambolic. That decision making. Yesterday, Jimmy said he will make the next game, winning 3 against the Nets, and he's out now. I mean, yeah, obviously we'll have to wait till the 4th game of the season for that to happen. Is it fair to say that we are a good average team, no better, no worse? The problem is good average teams don't win when it matters. I mean, we've seen that countless times this year. There's been games where it's been hanging in the balance. I mean, last game was the first time we saw a player really take charge in the closing. I mean, Cam Thomas has done it before, but he probably did do it earlier in the season, but that seems like light years away, So for Mikal to do it with Cam Thomas out, I mean, is a really good sign. Hopefully that is just a sign of things to come. I actually did predict in my preseason preview that Mikal would either start the season one of two ways. He would start the season on fire in the first 10 to 12 games, or he'd be in a slump and then it would even out. So as it currently sits, that looks like that may very well come to fruition. And if it does, well, I think we're going to be a far better team for it. It's like that interconnected relationship between Cam and Mikal, right? Mikal is dependent on Cam to take the pressure off, and equally is Cam dependent on Mikal to take the pressure off. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see at least how this game pans out, because obviously a few different storylines, but the biggest of them all being that the Heat are missing basically a full starting lineup, and the Nets, well, we're missing a few, but we've obviously come off some. Well, it was a missed opportunity the other day. No two ways about it. We need to win this one badly. So the key today is that we cannot be complacent in any respect. It's just not going to cut it, because these guys, these Heat players, I mean, we talk about Spoelstra as being an excellent coach. Um, like this group of players here are just going to slot into the system that Spoelstra plays, and um, I don't think it's really going to matter the kind of personnel that they've got. So we're going to have to match them energy wise, and hopefully we have that bit of extra class that can get us on top. We're underway, and the Nets, as was the previous game, win the tip, and it will be CJ handling the rock. It'll be a drive, and now Dinwiddie on the perimeter, he shoots a three, and that is off. So that is just an interesting start. I don't really like that three, but whatever. It is what it is. Highsmith is picked up by Bridges. It's going to be really interesting to see where they get their offense from. We have a travel by Jaquez, and look, with a team like ours, supposed to be good defensively, we should not be conceding more than 90 points today. But we also can't get too comfortable with that notion, because we could be taking tougher shots. Get a bit lazy. Bridges misses. Claxton is fouled after he gets the offensive rebound, and it will be 2 shots to kick things off in this game. So that's what we like to see. Claxton, had a really good game. He had a 20 and 10, 20.10 rebound, that is, game against the Hawks. But he did give away a crap ton of offensive rebounds to Clint Capella, which proved vital. So, it's going to be pretty key that he can obviously hold his own, but then, negate the impact of his direct matchup. So Claxton at the free throw line, he's been pretty good at the free throw line. I don't know what his percentages are this season. And he hasn't taken it at a huge percentage or huge rate, but when it comes to percentage, he's been pretty quality. So only a few misses in there. Definitely more makes than misses, which is always, step one of the battle. Richardson picked up by Dinwiddie. Lowry in the corner over Bridges. It's good. And I think that's a 3. It is. And the Heat kick things off their scoring output with that corner tray. Dinwiddie was hassled by Richardson on the handoff, but he still got there. Dinwiddie in a switch with Bryant. He's going to feed Claxton, who kicks it out to Finney-Smith, whips it to the corner. The 3 by Johnson is good. And we have our first outside shot of the game. 5-3 Nets. Lowry into the paint. He's going to pass it off. Bryant can't get the hook shot to go, and Claxton with the presence. CJ to Finney-Smith. Pulls up for 3. That was a bit of a heat check. Bridges, I thought, was held because he was able to get one hand on that rebound, voice crack. But the Heat were able to secure. So it's 5-3. Couple minutes into the game. Jaquez will facilitate. He tried to go backdoor. And that pass was deflected, ricocheted off the backboard, and then went out of play. So good bit of defensive activity there. I expect a lot of misses for the Heat today. Like, they don't really have a true playmaker. They don't really have a... Like, what is going on there? That is a bit shit. That was an open 3 for J. Rich, but he missed it. Like, they don't really have a go-to shot creator or a facilitator. The center rotation's a bit weird. Claxton couldn't get it to go after the Dinwiddie lob was a little bit wayward. And now Lowry in transition will pull up for 3 and miss the rebound by Claxton. And Johnson will push it. He's going to drive. And the layup was there, and it was good. I mean, if it's going to be given to you, you might as well react. And he did so on that occasion. So CJ with 5 early on. Easy wraparound for Richardson. That is so lazy by CJ, but he's going to get the rebound here after another Richardson miss. And Johnson will get it to Clax, who will put the ball on the floor, pick up his dribble, shoot, and Bryant was with him. And then the pass was completely misdirected. He just threw it out of play. So the Heat didn't even get it past half court, and the Nets will be the beneficiaries of that one. 7-3 early going. And the Nets, well, have made a few of their open shots. CJ has been the main part of that. Dayron's into the game extra early today. Bridges pulls up in the mid-range and he badly missed it. It was good defense by, I believe it was Highsmith, who's going to take it all the way, kick it back out to Richardson, and then pass it off to Bryant in the post. He's sitting on the baseline. He's going to back down sharp and body his way to the basket. So that is potentially going to be a way the Heat score. Dinwiddie will get that switch again. And now Dayron was hacked by Jaquez. And it's going to be 2 shots for Dayron. So the bigs getting to the line early, and we're seeing a fair bit of success with the switch, which finds the guard playing on the center in the restricted area. So there's nothing really as a Heat player you can really do except foul and hope for the best, I think, with regards to, them not scoring an and one. So 8-5, I think from a Heat perspective, you're just really hoping that you're going to be able to deliver today in terms of just providing that effort and energy. And then obviously you see where that takes you. Dayron makes both. So both Claxton and Sharp at the free throw line early have made all 4 of their free throws. So a good start there in that aspect. The Heat going to get into a set here through Richardson, who's going to drive. Bridges is there. Back out to Bryant and now Highsmith. We went under the screen. It's going to be an illegal screen. I mean, the 3 was off. But Bryant's going to be hit with the personal. And it will be a turnover. The Nets will regain possession. As far as I'm concerned on that, Dorian Finney-Smith should not be going under the screen. Better players are knocking down those shots, man. Johnson into the paint again. The spin kept the pivot foot down, and he was able to score the turnaround J right at the edge of the paint. So 11-5, Johnson was 6, and then 7 actually. 7 for Johnson, and then 4 free throws by the 2 centers. Bryant the roll, Dayron with the block and the rebound. And now Bridges will push. Long strides, missed it. Doe with the follow. And it's going to be a timeout. I think the Heat had to call it because it was a 5-on-4. And I think the Heat player hit the deck. I'm not really sure what the deal was there, but that is exactly the start we needed because, it's important to get off to a good start. How have I forgotten the overlay again? Thank you for letting me know again. Whereas Amy is a regular, so something must have happened. I think we will have a high energy game this one. Well, I think we've done well. We've done well to start. Sorry, I didn't look at the chat. I would have actually changed it sooner. But that is the scoreline thus far. I can't believe it. O'Neal has not been placed in the game yet. It's only 5 minutes into the game, so Royce, I think, is getting a little bit of a minutes restriction. We'll call it that. Should I just put the spotlight on Mikal? You know what we're gonna do? As the ultimate piss take today, we're gonna take the piss out of Royce O'Neal, and I just want to see if he sees the spotlight and he's like, I've got to capitalize on this. This is my time to get my minutes back. So we're going to see what O'Neal does as the game pans out. Good start, though, for the Nets. We can see for the Heat, they're just lacking a bit of everything. Look at that bench. Jimmy Butler isn't even playing, so that is a very, very weak bench. They don't even have a guard. And then for the Nets, we've already seen 7 from CJ. There's been some really good bits of shot selection there and some good shot creation. The free throws making all their... Well, the centers making all their free throws is an incredibly positive sign. Mikal hasn't started the way he would have liked, not the way he left things a couple of nights ago, but it's good that we've seen a bit from CJ to start. He's actually at a decent sort of patch of form. There's been a couple iffy games in there, but overall, he's been all right. Most recently at a 20-point game, so it's good. Alrighty, we're back to the score. 13-5. We will look at the chat as much as we can. I forgot to bring my phone here, so usually I'd look at my phone for the chat, but I've left it in the other room, so we'll get it at maybe the quarter time or the halftime break. But those all tuned in, welcome to the stream. I hope you're all doing well. If you are enjoying it thus far, make sure to drop a like on it, and if you are new, make sure to sub as well. I couldn't even say that. Lost my breath. Okay, so the Heat's return from the timeout. Huckers is trapped. The three was open for Bryant because Dayron's just playing extreme drop coverage and Bryant was off. So the Heat start 2 of 8. Dinwiddie, CJ is open. He didn't shoot the three, which is interesting, and then he nearly threw it away. You have got to shoot that, and I think Dorian Finney-Smith gave off the signal after that ball was deflected out of play. You got to shoot those, CJ. You had like 4 feet of space, and he's just handed it off. So Bridges. There we go. CJ's open again. And oh my goodness, I thought he'd missed that because the net didn't even move. So a 9-0 run. CJ's got 10. And he's really capitalizing on a Heat defense, which doesn't really have an answer at the moment. Bryant, the spin. Mikal with the block on the help. And the Heat just cannot score at the moment. And in case you've missed it, well, there's a huge reason for that. They're missing Robinson, Hero, Adebayo, Butler. So there's no real number one scoring option here. Richardson for 3 is off. He gets back on, and another rebound for the Nets. These are piling up because of all the Heat misses. Bridges into the paint, fading away on the baseline. It's off, and a rebound for Jay Rich. So not the best shot available there for Mikal, especially given it was early offense. Highsmith checks his feet, shoots the 3, and he hits. So the Heat finally get a score on the board because they were in a little bit of a drought for the last few minutes. Caleb Martin is getting ready to check in. Dinwiddie will drive down the middle, pass it out to Bridges, who was well cut off there by Richardson. And now Dayron in the middle puts the ball on the floor. Johnson the cut and the reverse on the baseline. And CJ is just, he's outscoring the team by himself, and he picks up the steal there after forcing the deflection. And now Dinwiddie will drive on Highsmith down the middle and got the whistle. So a little bit of a few bars there by me. And Spencer Dinwiddie will be going to the free throw line at the 5:22 mark. Well in control at the moment. Scoring's going well. Getting a few steals in there as well, which is good. I did check to see because Dinwiddie makes that free throw. I did note that your boy, Cam Johnson, that was an excellent cut. But in the Atlanta game, we forced 14 turnovers, but 11 of those happened in the second and third quarters. And obviously in the first and the fourth, there wasn't really an answer. So that just goes to show, like, for a team that relies so much on pace and space, and getting those turnovers, to really get those fast break opportunities, turnovers are so important. If you can force as many of them as you possibly can, then, you put yourself in a great position. We just simply haven't done that enough, and that's why we're shipping off so many points. It looks like that's it's a technical, and it's a defensive 3 seconds. They keep calling that. I have no idea what's just happened to the telecast for the Nets. They've just zoomed it right in, so I can't even see what's going on the court. So 20-9, the Heat will have another crack here as well. Watford is into the game in the first quarter, which is good. Really a fan of this. I don't know if he's brought O'Neal in yet. If he's brought Watford in over O'Neal, then that may be a sign. It's Watford, Claxton. Yep. So there's no O'Neill. Finney-Smith with the block, and then he lost it out of bounds after there was a little bit of on-ball pressure there by Jaquez after he missed it. So 5 on the floor is Claxton, Finney-Smith, Bridges, CJ, and Watford. So Dinwiddie out and Watford in. Obviously, Watford able to facilitate. Lowry for 3, that's online, and it is good. So an 8-point lead for the Nets. Lowry's probably going to be their only source of offense that you can maybe reliably put the responsibility on. Bridges out to Watford. He's left alone, and he hits the 3. So Watford already scoring more points than O'Neill did last game. Love back out to Richardson, and he is going to find himself in a switch. Claxton there, so that's a good switch. Claxton now switches on to Martin, forces the kick out. Lowry again. That is short, and a rebound for Mikal Bridges at the 4:10 mark. So a couple getting ready to check in. Bridges, the pass across to Watford. I can't see what's going on with this broadcast angle. It's just zoomed in for some bullshit reason. Bridges lost the ball, got it back, and then Lowry was able to secure. Mikal got pinged with a kickball violation as well. So a turnover, but probably better than, well, definitely better than, a turnover in the open floor where we were able to, we're able to get our defense back and set with Mikal kicking the ball there. Bro, Cam Thomas, his hair, I just saw on the bench, that afro is ridiculous. It's like all the way out here. It's almost like an Irving afro. And that's Julius, not Kyrie. Lowry out to Jaquez. He's open and he knocks it down. He's been way too good in recent memory to be missing those. And we got a timeout called here by JV. So, couple open threes being made here by the Heat in the last couple of possessions. We'll have a look at the box score, but first we'll have a look at the chat. If you are enjoying, make sure to drop a like on it and subscribe as well. We'll be back in not a couple of days. There is a game tomorrow, but I mean, if you'd like, let me know. Let me know if you'd like me to do like a half. I can't do the full game. I can't do the end of the game. But if you'd like me to do a half, I can do it. Walker will be a big spark of the bench. Well, I'm hoping so. He's had a couple down games. I'm a diehard Nets fan. Good to see. Good to see. If we have some new people in chat, let us know. And obviously we are, more than embracing in this community. So, alrighty. This is the box score situation for the team. I don't know why it's doing that. CJ basically accounts for half our total. He scored 12. He has not missed. He is on a bit of a tear, but it's come off the back of some really good shot selection. Just getting, taking what you're given. Mikal hasn't had a good start, but it hasn't really mattered. We're shooting the ball well at 7 of 14. The rebounds are coming, as well, and the turnovers have remained down. We've actually forced 4, which is uncharted waters for this team. 4 turnovers. We don't usually force that many in a quarter. Lowry's got 6, but you can see their rotation. Like, it is so depleted. It's so short that you can actually nearly see the Brooklyn Nets box score at the bottom of the little tab, the panel there. So, it's going to be a little bit of a rough watch, I do feel, unless the Heat play, with incredible tenacity. But we've got quite a few in chat today, which is awesome to see. We haven't had this many in the chat for a while. So yeah, let me know if you would be willing to watch a half of basketball via the watch along. Because then I've got to head off. So if you want me to do that, you got to let me know. And now is probably the best time to do so I can prepare accordingly. Okay, well, the net stream just died. It just died. I may just have to change the feed. I'm going to have to watch the Heat broadcast. Yeah, we're just going to have to live with the Heat broadcast for the moment because the Nets have just gone off the face of the earth. So it's inbounded and O'Neal checks in. O'Neal cross-court pass to Walker, who I feel like he nearly travelled. O'Neal back out to Walker, who's going to go baseline on Love, and he was caught in the air and ended up traveling. He went up and down without releasing the pass. So Nets will have to get a stop here. Obviously, stunt that momentum of the Heat. If you give a team that, is probably going to win on the back of playing hard, you can't give them that confidence that they require. So getting stops as much as possible is key. Bro, typical O'Neal. Just lets Lowry go right by him, and it's going to be free throws for Kyle, who is similar to the impact of Johnson and the Nets on the Nets. Lowry's doing a fair chunk of the work for the Heat. Lowry makes the first free throw and cuts the lead to 7. So Dinwiddie checks back in. Like, O'Neal just cannot guard guards at all. He's just rubbish. He is so shit. That rim's out. Oh my god, of course. He's just given up a rebound. After the Heat have missed a free throw. And then he gives away the fucking cut. And Lowry scores again for 2. You cannot write this. You cannot write this. He comes into the game and immediately has like 3 blunders, bro. What is he doing, man? They've got to just cut ties with this guy. I would honestly give Jalen Wilson a crack. I'm not even joking. Watford is short on the push shot and a rebound for the Heat. So Huckers will hand it off to Martin on the wing. And now Huckers will back down Walker. They're going to need to give him a bit of help here. Huckers kicks it out. Watford did not go over. And Martin scores on the baseline for 2. So they're getting their buckets in a number of ways. But it doesn't really matter how you do it. It just matters that you do it. And the Heat have gone on a nice little run here. On a nice little 8-0 run, actually. Claxton rolls, gets into the paint, and he blew the layup. The layup was there. It's off. The Heat in transition. Huckers to the corner for Kane, and he's going to bounce past it to Lowry. Back out to Love, and then they were open on the weak side. Martin was in a paddock of space right in front of the Heat bench, but luckily a pass in that direction was deflected out of bounds by Walker. So, man, the Nets are going to get tested. I'm not one bit surprised by this as well. So, as long as you play O'Neal, you're always going to be a net negative. He's picking up Kevin Love here because he's just terribly slow. And now he's in a switch on Cole Swider, who's into the game for the first time. Can't imagine he's played too much this year. That's a steal by Spencer Dinwiddie. He knocked it to O'Neal, who's going to leave it for Walker. Rhythm 3. It's good. And he wanted a whistle because he fell to the floor. But it doesn't matter anyway. As long as you get the 3 points, you've got to capitalize on the break. And Spencer Dinwiddie starts it there. Dinwiddie got rid of Love under the basket. And I don't know if... I think the Nets are in the bonus, but the Heat are not. We're being pretty disciplined. That'll be their first foul in the final couple of minutes here. Inbounded from the wing by Caleb Martin to Richardson now. Martin picked up by Walker. The screen set. Good defense by Claxton. Forces the miss. And Claxton is down. And very, very sore. I think. I saw him holding something. He is... I think it's... I'm not even joking. I think it's another ankle. The ankle curse continues for this team, dude. Fuck off. Seriously. He's going to need a moment. I don't know what's happened here. If it was a knee, if it was an ankle. But he is not in a good way at the moment. He's getting helped up. Let's see what happens when he walks. Oh, he's fine. He's just he's a little bit ginger, but he's okay. He's a little bit ginger, but he's okay. Let's have a look. He had to have landed awkwardly because he's just... I can't see it on the broadcast, but he looked in visible pain. Let's have a look. On this replay, I can't see it. He had to have landed awkwardly because there's just no way. He's going down to the locker room, but he's walking just fine. Like, he looks ginger, but he looks okay. So, because of the shit replays by this Heat broadcast, I can't see a thing with regards to what's actually happened. But I would assume it was an ankle. What the hell is Wayne Ellington doing on the Heat bench? But yeah, I mean, the Nets, like, so many times that has happened this year where Claxton has forced a bad miss because he's switched onto, like, a guard and they've driven it. Claxton hasn't been deterred, but on the rebound, like, there's never any assistance. It's always, like, the guards ended up on the big because Clax has ended up on the guard. And, you know, it's just an absolute, well, it's absolutely shambolic, you know, in terms of the box out. So we've got to be far more better in terms of reading that situation and crashing the glass a little bit. Because you can't be having plays like Lonnie Walker have to box out Kevin Love. As much as Kevin Love is old, you know, doesn't really make a difference. Whatever the personnel may be. So it will be free throws for Love after the guard fouled under the basket. I don't remember who it was. I think it was Walker. It may have been Dinwiddie as well. The Heat cut it to 4 with 2 makes at the line. We've got to get it by the half-court line. They do half-court press. We got it past. Watford just lost the ball, and he wanted a foul, but it's... What? It has to be Nets ball. It's going to be Nets ball. I think Swider's foot was on the line, so it's going to be, yeah, Nets ball. Currently up 26-22. Claxton in the locker room getting his ankle sussed out. Walker to O'Neal. Back to Walker. That is a deep three. It's off. Well behind the line. Love was looking for a bit of a full court pass, and that was well and truly not offer. So it was a backcourt violation. Wow. That was absolutely unnecessary if you're looking at it from a Heat perspective. Swider's just dribbled it past half court and he threw it to Love. So I don't actually know if that was a backcourt violation, but we move. And the Nets will start through Dinwiddie. Oh my God, you're kidding me. Why would you shoot that? That's probably one of the first times this year we've gone for a 2-for-1, and Dinwiddie did not capitalize on it. It was nearly a half-court heave, might as well have been. Layup by Richardson is off, and a gang rebounding effort by the Nets. We can hold for 1. Dinwiddie will slow things down, and I reckon just give it a CJ. He's the hot hand, but a lot of his work has been done off the ball. Walker is going to shoot a mid-range. That's long, and a rebound for Kane, who's not going to bother getting a shot up. And that'll do it for the first quarter. So 26-22. I don't really know what to make of this first quarter. Okay. There's nothing like a couple of Royce O'Nomens to get the Heat into the game. Yeah, 100%. Brother Nets are almost losing to a Heat team without Jimmy, Bam, and Tyler. I mean, yeah, it's a bit of an embarrassment. Not gonna lie, but um, this is the situation right here. And look, the Heat, they're playing hard. They're not shooting the ball particularly well, but um, like even despite the 6 turnovers, hanging around. I think it's a good thing from a Nets perspective. The 6 turnovers have actually happened. The Nets are not shooting it particularly well either. I mean, we only lead because of one extra made field goal and two extra made free throws. That aside, nothing's really separating the two teams. I mean, rebounds are pretty even. Turnovers, I mean, we've had a few less. But that aside, like, nothing else really separates the two. So, you know, Bridges starting the game 0 of 4 is, I mean, it's not a good thing, but it is, you know, a good thing in the sense that we're up by 4 and Mikal has not scored a point with the likes of Cam Thomas out. It's good that CJ has had the start he has had because, yeah, I mean, 12 points is shouldering a fair bit of the responsibility in terms of the offensive side of things. So I think that's a really good positive to take out of the first quarter. I mean, we lead. Look, we could have fallen into the trap. This is a trap game in many respects. This is an opportunity you cannot waste. So, you know, getting off to a good start and not falling into the trap of complacency was key. And I think we've done a pretty good job of that so far. So, you know, defensively been pretty decent. 22 points conceded isn't too bad. It's more the offensive side of the ball, which I think the separation is to be had. And I think Mikal is going to be a huge part of that. Obviously coming off like a 45-point game, he had 31 shots. So, yeah. You know, like, I don't know, like, he cannot use the excuse of fatigue because, I mean, we've had a couple of days off. We've played like 2 games in a week, 3 games in a week and a bit. Wow, that is incredibly lazy by Spencer. He's just allowed the pass under the basket and then just gave up on it. That's pretty poor by Spencer, man. What sort of intensity is that? I'm actually pretty surprised Dayron isn't on the floor right now. I mean, the Heat are playing small ball. CJ again, that's off. O'Neal fucking blew the putback layup. I mean, it was good he was in the right spot, but you can always rely on O'Neal for letting the team down. And then he gets the block. So there's the full experience for you if you're supporting Royce O'Neal. Johnson to Dinwiddie. Drive. Oh my fucking God. How has that worked? Dinwiddie passed it off the backboard to Finney Smith and he found the reverse. I mean, that definitely wasn't in the playbook, but we find ways to score in the most, well, bizarre of ways. Love, knocked away by O'Neal. They find the corner 3, and it's Kane who knocks it down with a hand in the face. So, Heat down to, or get it down to a 1-point deficit. Now, Johnson to Finney Smith, who thought about the 3 and the pass, delayed both of those things. Johnson to the corner for O'Neal, you have to hit those, and he does. So thank you, Royce. Finally doing something. I mean, I put him in the spotlight today, so he's got to have a big game. And a couple nice things he's contributed thus far. That is just another runway of a layup for Caleb Martin there. I don't know what the Nets defense are doing, napping so easily on that one. O'Neal again. Oh, that's an absolute heat check of a 3. He knocks it down, though. So O'Neal with 2 threes in quick succession. The Nets are shooting very well from 3. That's a foul on Walker. And it will be Jay Rich going to the free throw line. I don't know if these two were teammates because Richardson obviously had some time at the Spurs. Walker, much the same. I don't believe they've crossed paths. I don't know why I couldn't say that word. Okay. So 34-29. The Heat have scored 5 threes. The Nets have scored 6. We have free throws here for Richardson, and Richardson makes the first at the 10:01 mark. Let me just get that well and truly realigned. If you are enjoying the stream thus far, it's important that you provide your feedback and if you'd like, you can support the show in more ways than one. We are doing another stream potentially tomorrow if you want to see it, but if not, we'll be here for the final game of the in-season tournament between the Nets and the Raptors, starting 15 minutes before the tip. If we win, we can actually go top of our group, which I can't imagine is something we would have expected with us drawing Boston, weeks and weeks back. Johnson to the corner for Dinwiddie on the catch. The three is good, and man is so much better when he's shooting catch-and-shoot threes as opposed to the pull-up threes. I mean, numbers indicate it. Martin, the response, no. Rebound secured by the Heat. How have they done that? Swider, pass. Richardson is open in the mid-range, and he knocked it down. I mean, when you're forcing misses, we saw this the other day, you have to get the rebound. And the Heat are going to be hungry for those offensive boards because that's one area of the game they can get the ascendancy in. Walker, drive, and it's going to be an offensive foul. So Jovic, who's checked into the game, excellent first defensive play. And let's get back to the Nets broadcast. So, Heat. Okay, well, we're going to get a timeout. So, 37-33. This is a really weird game of basketball, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. Let's get the spotlight stats updated for Royce O'Neal. I mean, he's actually not had a bad start to the game, if I'm being honest. He's already got 6, 1 and 1 and a block. But, I mean, we've already conceded 12 points in 3 minutes to the damn Miami Heat. And look who they're missing, dude. Look who they're missing. That is their team. And they're getting some good minutes out of this team. More so the bench. Kevin Love. I remember looking at the box score in the previous Nets Heat game, and his minutes, he wasn't really doing too much, in terms of tangible stats, but like the intangible stuff, getting those charge calls, spacing, just, he actually was really, really valuable for them. And even today, I mean, you're seeing in the plus minus, like he's only got the 2 points, the 4 rebounds, the 2 dimes, but that's a huge part of why they've been able to get back into this game. Like, the starters had a really rough start, but, they've done a pretty good job of, fighting and getting back into this game. Even despite the 7 turnovers, even despite the shooting not being 100% up to scratch, but it is a pretty good bit of shooting splits there. The Nets aren't shooting the ball awfully either. Getting to the line, shooting the ball well, and the turnovers remaining down. But, I mean, as I said, not too much to separate this team, of both teams, as I said, a quarter time. I mean, we've hit 2 more threes and 1 more field goal as a part of that. So, there's really not much separating the two teams here. So that's why if you have a chance to get an offensive rebound, you got to pounce. Yeah. Or a defensive rebound. You can't force or allow the offensive rebounds. I'm just seeing the group standings again. The Nets, if they win by 14 or more, or I think they have to win by 15. If they win by 15 against the Raptors, then they go above. They go above the Magic, and in turn would automatically book a spot in the playoffs, I guess you could call it, for the in-season tournament. So the Heat will get possession at the return of this timeout. Well, after we return from this timeout. Never mind. It's been overturned. I thought it was let's have a look. Wow, okay, that's a very good challenge. Good pickup by JV. I didn't know if it was a challenge because it seemed like a very abrupt time to call a timeout. at the 9:06 mark of the second, given nothing had really gotten too out of hand. But he's won the challenge, and he's gotten 2 free throws for the team. So basically, in essence, it could have been a 4-point swing right there. Swider lets it fly and knocks it down. Nothing but nylon. And the Heat cut it to 3. So bench doing things again. Claxton is back in, ladies and gents. So we do have some positive injury news after he went down to the locker room. Dinwiddie, alley-oop. Claxton with the finish. And, I mean, Claxton's on Jovic, so I expect a fair bit of good coming out of these minutes here. Richardson was allowed to shoot the 3, and Richardson just cannot buy a bucket in this game. Johnson is back in. He picked up his dribble. Walker thought about the 3, but there was no space there. And now CJ will put the ball on the floor, picked up his dribble. Walker had to pass it and was nearly caught in the air again. We got 7 to shoot. Dinwiddie to Claxton, who rolls, faked the pass, and then scored off the window. So Claxton with some offensive points here, as we've needed, with no Bridges and CJ shouldering a bit less of the load in the second quarter. Another 3 for Swider is good. And you can already see that there's going to be that one player again who decides to rock up against the Brooklyn Nets, because that's just how things go in this building. There's always a player, a nobody, that just decides to rock up. Walker responds with a 3. So we've got a timeout by the Heat, and that's another 3 for the Nets. And we've been shooting the ball, incredibly well in this second quarter, from 3 especially. Back at the box score again, and you can see we're shooting it at 62%. Walker's hit 2 threes, Watford's hit 1, O'Neal's hit 1, and Johnson has hit 2. Those guys who have, missed or haven't made a 3-pointer typically have been the ones who haven't really taken the shots. We're getting some good bench points again. I mean, we've already got 19 of those, and we're at the 7:34 mark of the second quarter. CJ still leading the way, and Mikal Bridges still pointless. So, yeah, I mean, that's pretty telling. But for the Heat, I mean, they're still shooting it well. Like, if JV is going to seriously, put paint over the cracks and say, well, if we win today, that just shows defensive improvement. Look at the team they've got, and look how well they're shooting the ball. They're shooting at 50% from 3, and that well from the field. Like, you cannot be telling me that is good defensive play. There's been quite a few open looks there. I mean, some of the shots have been particularly good bits of, scoring, but come on now. There's a point where it's just not on. And it may not necessarily be JV's fault in terms of what the players deliver on the court, but as a coach, you have to make the adjustments and figure out what is absolutely cooking you, what is a liability, and then you've got to react accordingly. And I don't think he's done that enough, if that makes sense. I will look at the chat, probably at the next time out. I can't really do multiple things at once, but if you are enjoying, make sure to drop a like on it and subscribe as well. Yeah. We'll be back in a couple of days' time for the in-season tournament game. And also, let me know if you want to see a half of a Nets Bulls watch-along tomorrow. Because that'll be the second night of a back-to-back, and I don't know what I'll be signing up for if I do that, but let me know. Let me know if you want to see that, and you'll tune in for that, because obviously it's not really worth it if people aren't going to tune in for a half, so it's up to you, of course, but I'm happy to do it. It's just a matter of whether people are going to tune in for it. So we return with the Heat down 7. Oh, and they've thrown it in the backcourt. Again, a little bit of a miscue there, a bit of miscommunication between Kane and Richardson. Richardson walked or ran one way and Kane threw the ball in the other direction. So Heat lacking a bit of continuity with this bench here, and the Nets have an opportunity to reinforce the lead that they've had basically the whole game. Bridges had a bit of an open look. He shoots it now, and he doesn't get the bounce. A rebound for the Heat. It's a 4-on-2 fast break. 3 for Martin in transition, and he knocks it down in rhythm. So, I mean, we had quite a few numbers still in our own forward half. Walker picks up his dribble, gets it to Clax. Walker gets it back. The Heat are playing zone. Johnson will use the Clax screen. Walker, oh no, he's got to shoot it. Shoots a 3. He had himself in an absolute pool of trouble. Martin got through, and there is a foul in there, and it's Lonnie Walker who picks it up. Martin's toe was on the line on the previous 3, so it's going to be deemed a 2, and there'll be 2 free throws as well, I believe, on Bridges, who it was actually on the floor, I do think. So that's a smart foul by Mikal. It's not going to be deemed a take foul because we had a number back. Richardson to the bench. And so the 5 on the floor for the Nets is Dinwiddie, Walker, Bridges, Johnson, and Claxton. So basically starting 5, except Walker in for Finney-Smith. Martin shoots the 2 and doesn't get the bounce. A rebound by Bridges. Johnson behind the back, through the legs, to the corner for Walker. He shoots the 3, and that rimmed out. So a decent look, but wasn't able to be capitalized on. And then just, oh, that is terrible. Terrible communication by the Nets, but we're lucky we left Jamal Cain open and not Steph Curry. Walker was thinking about the pass to Clax because he has the size. Instead, it'll be Bridges who was fouled on that drive by Jovic. It'll be 2 free throws, and these will be Mikal's first points of the game if he can actually convert one of them. So quite a far cry to what he was delivering on the scoring front the other day, but it's just a good thing we've been able to remain afloat in that time. Bridges makes his first point of the game at the 5:57 mark of the first half, and of the second quarter, with 5:57 to go in the first half. So Bridges makes the first, and the second, we'll see what this results in. O'Neal's back in the game. I don't know who for. I think Walker's... Like, this doesn't make sense. What a sideways move. Take Walker off, bring in O'Neal. Why not just bring Watford in, dude? Or DFS. Mate, you have options. And you bring in the worst of the lot. Lowry to the corner for Jaquez now. Picked up by Claxton. He stays with him. It's a drive. That had to be a push-off, man. But Jaquez was able to flip it up and in anyway. And if obviously the whistle isn't blown, whatever is said goes. And then, well, the Heat will take that. Claxton puts the ball on the floor. The hook shot. That had to have been a foul. And Claxton, yet again, is taking a bit of time to get up. But I think this is more out of exhaustion than anything. It'll be 2 more free throws for him. And I love the exploitation of that matchup. Thomas Bryant hasn't seen minutes since like the opening 5. So they're giving Jovic a bit of extra run. And Claxton is, well, benefiting from this. Claxton at the line again. Did he just airball the free throw? I think he did. I saw the net move, but I was like, there's no way he's just swished that. Like, my eyes were playing tricks there. Let's have a look. Oh my God, Jesus Christ, that was a bad miss. So Claxton, I mean, he made his first 2, so there had to be a miss in there somewhere, and he corrects and scores the second, so splits the pair, and now it is Jovic picked up by O'Neal. The switch. Jovic into the paint. The kick out. Whip it across the court. Swider, a dribble and a three. That's off. Claxton will bring it up the court himself. Roll it out to O'Neal. He's wide open. He has to hit that, and he bricks the three. What an absolute surprise. And here's the last line of defense here. And Jaquez with the scoop. So, I mean, that is... Just simply put, better players hit those threes. Bridges, speaking of better players hitting threes, Mikal does so right on cue. And he kicks the lead back out to 7. Jovic got rid of Bridges, and he's also hobbling after that. I don't know what just happened, but he's actually going to lead the offense here. Bridges into the paint. That had to be a foul, and Bridges, just a little bit of a hop there. I think he's going to be okay. Much like Claxton, like a bit ginger at first, but I think, you know, walking that out will prove to be pretty positive. It'll do good things. So Bridges will get a few more shots at the charity stripe. Shooting 1 of 6 in the game. So, only the 5 first half points. DFS is back in. Why are you taking Johnson to the bench? Bro, 4 minutes 20 to play, and the sub's just been made. DFS and Sharp in for Claxton and Johnson. That is the most backwards substitution I've ever seen in my life. If this is the lineup we're closing the half with, I have no idea what JV is thinking here. O'Neal, Bridges, Watford, Sharp, and Finney-Smith. Please get the rebound. How do we not get the offensive fucking rebound, man? Once again, you get the positioning, but somehow you find a way to still cough it up. Like, multiple times they had the chance to get the possession. Absolutely blown it. So, the Heat will inbound with a chance to recycle the possession. O'Neal knocked it away. Watford with the steal. It's a 2-on-1. O'Neal back to Watford, and he scores for 2. And O'Neal, thank you, buddy. You're actually doing something on the floor. I can appreciate that if he's actually doing something. Jaquez thought about the 3. Finney-Smith is right there, so he's forced into a handoff to Highsmith, who will give it to Lowry on the wing. And now Finney-Smith finds himself in a switch, picking him up. Watford now will take responsibility, and that has to be the most rubbish foul call I've ever seen in my life. That's probably an over-exaggeration because the referees find a way to do one better the next game. But at the 3:36 mark, I'm looking incredibly pale. But that's beside the point. The Heat are inbounding from right in front of their bench. It'll be Lowry with the high screen set by Bryant. Dayron playing drop. The pass to Highsmith, top of the key. That was well short. A rebound by Bridges. He gets it ahead, and that was a very shit pass. I get the intention, but you've just got to play the percentages there. I mean, we get the right shot. We can get the lead up to 13. There's no rush. Bryant lost the ball, and I think it may be Nets' ball, which it is, and Bryant's been awful for them. Starting center for them today. And when you're, you know, really lacking in the rotation, you can't afford for there to be any stragglers. But I think Bryant's been one of those today for the Heat. He's provided basically negative minutes every time he's been out there. Bridges try to create the separation. What is Dayron doing? He's just taken the ball out of Bridges' hands after he had the offensive rebound well and truly sewn up. The Heat have gone the other way and scored a 3. Like, that's just another sequence. We talk about fine margins. It couldn't have been any easier to get a rebound there, and you've somehow blown it. Bridges into the paint. The layup is good. He got by Bryant, and obviously that extension, you know, his arms are so long, so even though Bryant was right there, wasn't able to deter him. Jaquez he couldn't discard Watford, and he ended up giving it back out to Lowry. We'll let the shot clock wind down. With 2 minutes to play, that three is off, and a rebound by Sharp. No one actually really went for it. The ball bounced before someone got a rebound. Bridges, no look. Finney-Smith, it's good. And a nice little 13-point lead has grown very, very subtly. A 12-3 run really hasn't felt like it because it's happened over the space of 3 minutes, but the Heat have been struggling in the last few minutes, as that run would suggest. Richardson to Jaquez on the wing. He's going to drive it, and Watford knocked it away. He's going to push the pace. Bounce pass to Bridges. Pull up three. Hits back iron. And a rebound for Jaquez, who gets it ahead to Highsmith. He picked up his dribble. Body's flying. Bridges sweeps in. And then O'Neal lost the ball. You fucking idiots. Just grab the ball. Stop with the fancy spin moves, you clown. Fuck me. Doing spin moves in the backcourt when you can't even handle the rock. What an idiot. Bridges to Finney-Smith again. Like, he absolutely grinds my gears, this guy. Seriously. For, like, the few bits of good he does, like, it's an absolute world of pain watching this guy play when he fucks it up. 63-50. Lowry. Mikal's already gone up to 11 points in about 3 minutes. He didn't have a point about 3 minutes ago before this run. Lowry out to Highsmith, who's going to hand it back off to Lowry. It's a good rotation by O'Neal. Doe let Highsmith shoot the three, and he knocked it down. So I think at that point, you've just, like, I don't think Highsmith's going to beat Finney-Smith off the dribble. Just pick him up from the perimeter. It can't be that difficult. Watford is closely guarded by Lowry. Watford gets by that, gets into the paint, and it was an offensive foul anyway, so I'd rather the dead ball turnover than the opportunity for them to run the break, as would have happened there with that Bryant block and the Heat getting possession. Claxton will take this opportunity to check in. Dayron's gone to the bench for Claxton. I don't know who else went to the bench. Bridges. Okay. So Watford, Finney-Smith, Clax, O'Neal, and Dinwiddie in for the final possession of the half. Defending the Heat. Lowry to the basket. He missed the layup. Couldn't get the rebound, but the time ran out. Jesus. That is the half right there. And I think that was just more conservative play than anything by JV to ensure that Mikal didn't get injured on defense. But that's the half. It's 63-53. Let's have a look at the chat first and foremost. If you are enjoying, make sure to drop a like and subscribe as well. Alrighty. So, it's been a decent first half. A pretty good first half, to be honest. I'm pretty happy with what we've delivered. So, that is the score. We checked the box score, as is tradition. And as you can see, the Heat are playing pretty well. 9 threes. They're doing everything they can to remain in this game, but the 11 turnovers, I mean, that has to be the highest amount of turnovers that we've, forced in a half this season, I think. And obviously it's a team that we're playing, the team that we're playing is very much on the weaker side, so they're probably bound to turn the ball over a little bit more and be a little bit less responsible with it, know what to do in certain situations. Probably lacking that cohesion on the court because they don't play together all that often. But they're hanging around. Jaquez has been really good for them. He's scored 10. He's shot the ball very efficiently, in line with the last 3 games where he shot the ball really well, and is averaging some good numbers. But it's been more the bench for them. The starting 5 really haven't delivered. Thomas Bryant in 11 minutes has been a negative. Highsmith has also been a negative, and he's barely played as well. Richardson has not been able to buy a bucket, and he's also in the negative. But their bench are doing some good things. I mean, from a Nets perspective, we're shooting 50% from the field and three, gotten to the free throw line 14 times. The turnovers, very, very avoidable. But that being said, I mean, we're doing enough in other offensive areas to sort of compensate. I mean, we're getting out rebounded by 2, but that's only on the back of the Heat having 2 more offensive rebounds. There have been a number of points the Heat have scored that has been incredibly avoidable. For example, I love singling my boy Royce O'Neal out, but my guy, what are you doing spin moves in the backcourt? Just be strong with the ball. Take it. You had 2 plays in the backcourt to their 1, and all you needed to do was grab it, pass it. It's that simple. Instead, you're trying to do it all yourself. You're not about that. You're not about that. You don't, your bag isn't that deep. Your bag isn't that deep. If we look at offensive contributions outside of that, let's not let bad players dampen the mood here. Cam Johnson is 12. Mikal is 11. We're getting some good contributions from elsewhere as well. Cam Johnson didn't score a point in that quarter. He only took 1 shot as well. I think we need to run some more off-ball sets for him because, like in the first quarter, he's cutting to the basket. The touches he was getting, the corner threes were on offer. I mean, the Heat started to play zone, so those, passes to the corner were probably not on offer. We would be risking a steal because, the Heat would be getting into the passing lanes and whatnot if we did try to pass it there. But I would like to see a few more shots in that regard. Spencer hasn't really taken too many shots, but I'm a fan of that. If he's only taking 3 shots and he's facilitating the way he is today, I see that as a very good game by him. He's got the 5 dimes. He hasn't had to do too much. But that being said, that is a good Dinwiddie game. I would rather him, do this than have the 20 shots he had the previous game on 40% shooting. He still had 12 assists in that game, but I'd rather him have 10 and 10 in this game and only take 6 shots as opposed to him taking 20 and, that costing us the game. So, yeah, I mean, Claxton's been okay. He's only played the 12 minutes. He was down in the rooms for a bit there, so we give him the pass in terms of only playing 12 minutes. We give JV the pass. Dorian Finney-Smith has been good. But, why has O'Neal only played 14? Or why has he played 14 minutes? Not why is he only? God, if he plays any more than 14 minutes, I may need to leave. So, yeah, that is the situation at the half. Let me know what the thoughts, the emotions, the feelings are going into the second half because, I mean, it's a very interesting sort of game here. This is a part of the game where, I mean, we're down, we're down a few players. They're down a few players. We've got to work out how to start the second half on the right note because if you give the Heat a run to start the third quarter, I mean, we saw this in the very first matchup. We found ourselves in a deficit and then, our bench went to work and the Heat starters, well, I don't really know if they were complacent, but I think they underestimated us. We cannot fall into that trap at all. So we've got this lead, a commanding lead at that. It's not that commanding, actually. It's very much losable in about 2 to 3 minutes. But I think, if we can get this lead out to maybe 10 to 15, 15 to 20, I think we'll be very much in a good position to get the job done. It's just going to be a matter of, remaining in the moment and just picking the right shot. Mikal started to find his feet at the back end of the quarter. I think that came with a bit of a higher usage at the end of the quarter. Excuse me. He took 10 shots for the half. It did not seem like he had taken the most shots. So Yeah, I mean, it's a 10-point game. The Heat haven't played badly. They're well and truly in it. Definitely rocked up for the fight. I mean, they've had 11 turnovers, so you sense if we start to falter in that respect, like we slow down in terms of forcing turnovers, then we could be in with a little bit of an issue. I think, let's have a look. What is the fast break point situation at the moment? Let me have a look. Because I think that's going to be a really telling part of the game. Because last game, I mean, even though we scored 145 points, we could not generate fast break points, which is really interesting. Really interesting. Here we go. So, okay. So fast break points only 9. Off our 6 turnovers, they've scored 8. Off their 11 turnovers, we've scored 11. So I would like to see a few more turnovers being converted into points. Points in the paint, pretty good. I'm not really surprised by that number because the Heat are sort of lacking any big man presence. I mean, if Bam Adebayo was playing, I think that number would be a hell of a lot different. I think it's really good. I mean, 5 steals and 5 blocks. The last time we had 10 steals and 10 blocks was against the Clippers. And obviously in that game, we held them to 94 points. So, I mean, that's well in line with, you know, what got us that win. What we're doing today is well in line with what got us that win. So, I think, as I said, all signs point towards a win if we can continue what we're doing. But that's always the most difficult part of the game. Keeping things consistent, especially with a team like ours who probably aren't known for that consistency. So I will leave it on the box score, and you can ask your questions if you have any. But as it currently stands, there's not too much else happening. We will check around the grounds. Okay. So, Philly are leading OKC. Embiid, of course, has only had 13 free throws. So that's like where half of his points have come from, and Maxi's got 26. And for the Thunder, Josh Giddey is playing. He's got 10, 7, and 6. Shea has got 23. Holmgren has got 26. And Isaiah Joe off the bench has just been trigger happy from the outside. And then the Hawks are playing the Wizards. 3rd game in 4 days, I think. And they've already started on pretty well against the Wizards, who simply are just basically making up the numbers this season because they've been god-awful. They're 2 wins and 13 losses. And to think that we could have actually lost to them, yeah. To think we could have lost to them if it wasn't for like a late game run, that would have been ugly if we had lost that. Okay. Right. So, what would you sense as... I want to get a gauge here. What would you people sense as an acceptable win today? Is it as simple as just saying win? Is it saying that we need to win by 20? Is it as simple as like just closing the game out from here and Jesus, and winning by like just keeping this margin? I feel a win coming on, but I'm an optimist. I think everyone would have expected a win today. If we don't win today, my goodness, wow, there's going to be some extreme questions for Jacques Vaughn there. I'm really keen to see what a fully healthy Nets team looks like. Hope we see it soon? Well, in order to get a healthy Nets team, we need Ben Simmons to be fit, and the odds of that happening probably not very, very high. Yeah. We have to get this done. No Royce equals win. Okay, you know what? If this stat line you're seeing here by Royce O'Neal, if Royce O'Neal does not get any more stats, if this is the same at the end of the game, we win the game. And you want to know why? Because he won't have played. He won't have played. So, man, God forbid if we lose this game and he closes the game out with Royce O'Neal, that's just going to make it a hell of a lot worse. I won't know what to do with my life if it comes down to that. Okay. If you are enjoying, by the way, make sure to show your support on it as well. That'd be much appreciated. Yeah, really that simple. And make sure to subscribe as well. If you feel like it and you want to stay notified for when I go live next, which will be in a few days' time. I probably won't do tomorrow then. Yeah, that's the deal. Man, we've got so long to wait. There's not really much to extract. We look good early. Without Royce, of course we did. We better not lose to the second string team. Mate, I think that's generous. I think that's putting it lightly. I think that's the third stringers we're facing, dude. Third stringers. Second stringers, I think, are a bit better than what the Heat have put out today. Like, there are some players that I don't reckon have played a minute. Like, for example, Cole Swider. Now, this guy, I guarantee you, has barely played. He's averaging 2.5 points, 0.5 rebounds, and an assist before today, shooting at 33% from the field, 25% from 3, 2 games. And, of course, we've already given him 6 points, which is his actual career high. So, I don't know what to tell you. I really don't know what to tell you. The second half is about to kick in. So let's get the box score updated. Not the box score. The game thingy. Now before, like, there's not a period of, there's not like a hiatus, but I think between the 3rd and the 12th, there's like in-season tournament shit going on, like the playoff rounds. So there's like a 9-day break. We will be doing every game except the one tomorrow until that break. So make sure to tune in. Huckers with the follow. I don't know who was boxing out, but yet again, that's just like, I can appreciate you giving away an offensive rebound if you're actually trying. But like the fact that oh my God, that was a nifty move by Clax. He faked the pass to the corner and then just split 2 defenders. Like, the offensive rebound we just gave up was so easily avoidable there. Mikal got a steal. Dinwiddie was open in transition. He was trailing the play and he missed the 3. Claxton with the board. He honestly could have taken it himself, but he kicks it out the unselfish way and Finney-Smith wasn't able to score. So, few opportunities there to get the lead out. Bryant was picked up by Finney-Smith. Richardson on the perimeter will bounce past it to Bryant. Claxton knocked it away. And the steal. It's a 5-on-4. We've got to capitalize here. Claxton is there. Alley-oop. And he got it to go. Good find. It was almost like it was in 0.5 speed there, but we were able to get it done. 13 points off turnovers now. And the Heat have already racked up a couple in this early portion of the second half. Lowry, backdoor cut by Highsmith, blocked by Claxton. And this guy he's just so incredibly important. No two ways about it. No, you can't underestimate his presence. Great skip pass by Johnson to the opposing corner. Finney-Smith back out for Bridges. He's got 4 to shoot. Finney-Smith, Johnson, 3 top of the key. It's off. And I reckon there was an extra pass in there, but probably the pressure of the shot clock got to them. Richardson picks up his dribble, and Lowry for 3. It's off. It rimmed out. It was halfway down, and it will be the Nets who will look to reinforce this lead a little bit more. Bridges, picked up by Lowry, will hand it off to Claxton. He faked the pass again, and he caught Bryant napping, and it's a 14-point lead for the Nets. And that's just, that is just smooth. Smooth operator. Claxton doing a bit of everything. It's even like he gave the hand signal to Dinwiddie as if he was going to pass it to him, and then Bryant just looks so slow. And I actually wanted the guy in the offseason, so I'm pretty happy we didn't end up with him. I'd rather have no center than have him. But a really good start to this second half for Nic Claxton. As you can see, he's now the leading scorer. He's scored 6 points in the quarter. And he's been pretty good in the block department as well. He's got 2 of those. He's got a steal in there. He's done a little bit of everything. And every starter is in the plus minus. So that's a positive. That is a positive. We are leading this quarter 6 points to 2. But obviously a long way to go. So we just got to, keep piling on the pain. I think that's going to be pretty essential. So, yeah, that's the deal. Cam Johnson again. He's been a bit of a plus-minus merchant this year. He's a plus 20 already in 19 minutes. There's been a number of games where he's been this good when he's on the court. Or been a part of the teams which, have provided that success. Those 5-man lineups, CJ is pretty good. It's more the off-ball stuff for him, though. It is a bit of a luxury. You can give him the rock, and he can go to work. But he's been he doesn't need to do that. I don't think, especially once Cam Thomas comes back. We haven't seen a full game this year where Cam Thomas, Cam Johnson, and Nic Claxton are playing full amounts of minutes. Cam Thomas played a game with them game 1, but he was coming off the bench, and I don't think the minutes would have aligned for the majority of the game. When he returns, Cam Thomas would probably have to start. I would say Dinwiddie runs the second unit. So to see CJ, Mikal, I think Finney-Smith has to start. Yeah, I don't think that's even a conversation. When Ben Simmons returns, it gets very interesting. Because then you'd have Dinwiddie and Simmons run the bench. Simmons would probably play the backup 5. And I don't know if I'd like that, because I think I'd like to have a little bit of extra size coming out of the backcourt, as opposed to, just having one big with the bench and just, demote Sharp to the third stringers, if that makes sense. The Heat will pass to the wing for Jaquez, who will get it back out to Kane, who sets the feet, fires, and misses. Rebound by Bridges, but it was swatted away by Jaquez, and the Heat will go again. Jaquez scores over the top of Clax. He's been incredibly good today for them. He's been, by a country mile, their best player. And the Heat of 13 second chance points, it hasn't really come from their bigs. We are the geniuses at giving away points to guards. Claxton to the corner for Finney-Smith. That was not a convincing pass whatsoever. Dinwiddie, the drive. Oh, you're kidding me. How is that an offensive foul, man? Let's have a look. You're kidding me. He's just run into him. That is the softest foul I've ever seen conceded. I did say last quarter that they would top it somehow. Kane forced to pick up his dribble. Good defense by Clax. The pass to the corner for Jaquez. And now Kane. 4 to shoot. They got to put one up. Lowry had to shoot it. And they've run out of time. It's a good defensive stop by the Nets. And, I mean, the shot was there for Lowry, I do feel. Because Claxton bit on the pump fake. So there was an opening, but Lowry opted for the extra pass, and that cost him in the end. Dinwiddie will drive down the middle. Surely there's a foul there, and he wasn't able to score off the glass with the banker. It's going to be free throws nonetheless at the 8:08 mark. It is 69-57. And the Nets have a chance to reinforce the lead yet again. There's an opportunity to blow this game right out of the water. I mean, like, we've given away a lot of second chance points. A pretty sizable amount of their total. So without those, like, this game is probably well and truly in the bin. Like, even if we even that one out with the second chance points, which, given how we've conceded the second chance points, that's entirely possible. A lot of the points we've given away on that front, completely avoidable. You know, if you just, like, you know, add 10 points to our total, or you get rid of 10 of theirs to even things up, the game's basically over. So, bounce pass to Jaquez. They're going to look for the pass to Love. They feed it to him, and he scores off the window. Claxton was found on the perimeter, and Finney Smith had the responsibility of holding Kevin Love down low. Didn't work. And now Spencer Dinwiddie will get it to Bridges, to the corner for Johnson. He will drive. Back out of Bridges. 3 on the move. It is good. And he does the little Sally to the crowd on the bench. That doesn't make sense. Knocked away by Finney Smith. Bridges hustles. It's going to be Heat ball, but they nearly made an absolute meal of it. Nearly a whole feast, to be quite honest. Dayron's in the game. Claxton to the bench again, coming in a little bit later in this third quarter. For Claxton, as opposed to the first, when Dayron was in within 3 minutes of the game starting. So the Heat will get into a set here through Jaquez. The bounce. That's a good move. Dayron with the swat, and Finney Smith gets the rebound before it trickles out of play. He's going to bring it up himself, and he'll hand it off to his former Dallas teammate in Dinwiddie. Nice screen by Dayron. There is open plays all over. Bridges, good move. Great move. Had the defender in the air and was able to score with the reverse. No resistance. Martin the response. It's good. And the lead is back down to 14. The Heat just hanging in there as much as they possibly can with the personnel they've got. Dayron. It's a blocking foul on Martin. He was there a bit late on the rotation. I mean, it was a good rollover because we didn't utilize that corner shooter that was wide open. But we're going to get free throws anyway through Dayron. The 6:29 mark. 76-62 the score. The first free throw is good. So he's made all 3 at the line at the moment. And just as I've said that, he is destined to miss this one coming up. So, second free throw. We've gotten to the line 17 times thus far in this game. Make it 18. And Dayron converts all of them. So, 4-4 from the line. That's a really good sign. Martin, cross, shoots over Bridges, and it's a foul on the floor, but Bridges is arguing the case for a travel. But these referees, I mean, they hate us. The refs as a whole, the whole refereeing body hate us. Like, whatever the ref we come up against, you cannot win with who we get hit with. Lowry, that's a great cut. Good verticality by Dayron, but once Dayron went up, there was no size to box out, and another offensive rebound conceded, another 2 points given away. Bridges weaves through, body's flying, but no shot up. Gee, there was a bit of space there. Dayron, down low, hook shot, he misdirected that, and it's going to be a foul. Kevin Love is rubbing the back of his head. Dayron is, I think, he may have been hit in the mouth. So, not sure who's come out of that worse for wear. But it's left a lasting bit of impact on Kevin Love there. He's still rubbing his head. Anyway, play resumes. It'll be Love picked up by Sharp. He's going to face up, shoot off the window. That is something you don't see usually. And the Nets will get a rebound after the miss. It is CJ who will go down the middle. And he was tripped up by, I don't know who. I think it was Lowry, but Martin also could have been involved in that. Yeah. Johnson just went straight into Lowry, whose foot was invading the area Johnson was running into. Sharp is back on the bench. So, I hate this, man. Why do you bring in O'Neal? For fuck's sake. Johnson. Bridges. Baseline. Dinwiddie. Wanna shoot. Finney-Smith. Got it! As the shot clock expires. I believe this is our biggest lead of the game. 81-64. Jaquez will look for Kevin Love, who had Bridges on him in the post. They roll it out instead, and Martin weaves his way through and scores for 2. So, Martin's been, pretty decent for them in the second half. Johnson created the separation. His 3 rimmed out. That's another good look. And in the first quarter, that is falling. Lowry, well, that is just ridiculous. Kevin Love scores for 2 more. The Nets had that rebound again, but O'Neal is just soft with it, man. And Kevin Love snatched it right away. Dinwiddie the wraparound to Finney-Smith to the wing for Bridges, who will drive down the middle, and the layup is good. Not really too much you can do about that. Jaquez was there every step of the way. Martin was somehow open on a 3, but he was short on it, and a rebound for Bridges. We'll get it to Johnson on the wing. The Euro, the layup is good. And a timeout. At the 4:02 mark of the third, we are in a commanding spot here, which is always nice to see, because you don't like the anxiety that comes with Nets games. So, the quicker we can get this game done and dusted and in the books with a win, the better. So this is the situation. Bridges, he started the game 1 of 6. He is now 6 of 13. He has made 2 threes, and he's shooting the ball really well. Got a steal and a block in there as well. The team, the starting 5 have been so good. Claxton with 13, 5 boards, 2 steals, 2 blocks. Love to see it. Dinwiddie, only player in the starting lineup in single figures scoring-wise, but doing a really good job of facilitating the 8 dimes to go with his numbers, and only the 2 turnovers. So he's been nothing but a net positive. The bench have also had a bit of scoring punch. I want to see Watford minutes, man. Stuff these O'Neal minutes. How has he nearly played the same amount of time as Claxton, bro? It's absolutely criminal. CJ's cooled off. He started 5 of 5. He's missed 4 of his last 5 shots, or 3 of his last 4 shots. That's including 3 threes, but he's been good on the boards, and he's been facilitating a little as well. I think I should also... I mean, the turnovers, we've kept that number down, which has also been incredibly important against a team who probably is a little bit of hunger to win, chip on their shoulder, that sort of thing. It's good, though, that we're shooting the ball well, looking after the ball, to ensure that we can capitalize on these high-quality looks that we are getting and, the shots that we are making. The free throws, we're killing them in that regard as well. 18 free throws to 7. And, they're shooting it at a very similar rate from 3, but, they've struggled a little bit more from the field. They've taken more shots, but have missed more. They've made less, even though they've had more shots attempted. They've got a few more offensive rebounds. That's the only reason they've got the rebounding edge at the moment. And they've turned it over 13 times, the Heat. So, they're sort of, they're struggling in a few ways. Like, the areas of the game that they couldn't really afford to, get too out of hand, I guess it's sort of panned out that way. Huckers. Bro, O'Neal is an absolute clown. He just gets absolutely fooled on every possession that he has to pick up a guard every time. That was far too easy for Huckers to maneuver through. Walker is in the game. So DFS on the bench. Walker to Bridges. Freed up by an off-ball screen. He missed the mid-range, and that's a shot he usually makes. He was making those if his life depended on it. Last game, Lowry rhythm 3. That's off. Rebound nearly secured by the Heat, but it ricocheted off the backboard, and the Nets got the long board. Dinwiddie to the corner for O'Neal. I don't know why he's put the ball on the floor. He rolls it back out to Spencer. O'Neal back to Dinwiddie again. The high screen by Clax, and the behind the back by Dinwiddie. That had to be a foul. He somehow got it to go, even though he had lost the ball. Regathered it all in one jumping motion and was able to score for 2. So, lead back up to 17. Huckers will shoot as he faces up Dinwiddie, but it's off. And now Spencer will push. That is a turnover. That was the weirdest pass I've ever seen. He had open players streaming forward to his right, wide open, but decided to go for the option that was already occupied, and it's a turnover. So the Heat regain, and this was about the stage of the game in our first meeting where our bench went on a run and completely caught the Heat off guard. So we got to ensure that we close out the quarter in a good way. Claxton with the block again. Dinwiddie will push, leaves it for O'Neal trailing. Bridges will go down the middle, but Jamal Cain's there. Dinwiddie was open for the corner splash. It's off, and a rebound for the Heat. Martin is fouled by O'Neal, to no one's surprise again, because this guy's a professional fouler, and Caleb Martin will go to the free throw line as a result of that. So, what the hell is Devin Booker doing there? What's Devin Booker doing at the Nets game? What the hell is D-Book doing in New York? Do the Suns play here? Because that is so random. That's really random. What the hell is D-Book doing at the Barclays Center to watch a regular season game between the Heat and the Nets? I don't get it. I mean, the only logical explanation is that he wants to watch Mikal and CJ, but like, that's even still, like, why? Why? You are playing for Phoenix. What are you doing? That doesn't make any sense. Dinwiddie. High screen O'Neal. A screen pops. Now Walker was open in the corner. He lost the ball. He was able to nearly re-secure it, but the Heat will... Well, they had a transition opportunity, and they squandered that opportunity. But they still have the ball here, so with 13 to shoot, they will play through Martin. O'Neal comes across and rotates well. Swider drives on Dinwiddie. Picks up his dribble. He's got 3 to shoot. Where is O'Neal going? And we have a foul on the floor. For some reason, Claxton inadequately boxed out Kevin Love and gave away the foul as a result. So, I don't know what O'Neal was doing there. He got lost on the perimeter. All he needed to do was just watch Caleb Martin. And somehow, with 3 seconds left, nearly let the Heat off the hook. Luckily, they missed. But they do reset for a full 14 here because they got the rebound. Backdoor cut. Block. But another putback by Kevin Love. So it's down to 13. This is the only reason they're in the game. 17 second chance points to 4. Claxton rolls. Puts the ball on the floor. Bro, fuck off. Kevin Love is going to be hit with a blocking foul. He just sits in the paint, bro, and waits for players to just barge into him. He nearly did it the first time. That is definitely on the move. That is never going to be called anything other than a block. Except I think Coach Spoelstra is going to challenge it. So maybe they are going to be the beneficiaries of this. I have no idea. The green light is on, so it is a challenge. And it will be, with an overturned call, it'll go the other way. If it remains the way things originally were, the Nets will have 2 free throws and the Heat would have lost their challenge. So, interesting. Interesting that they've gone for the challenge call here. If you are enjoying, make sure to drop a like and subscribe as well if you are new. We'll be back in a few days' time. The Nets Raptors. When Ben comes back, how many shots do you think Clax will have per game? It's an interesting question because you've got to think about whether or not, what the dynamic will be. Will Claxton or, will Claxton start? Will Ben start? Will they both start? Will one be staggered differently to the other? I think this is going to be overturned. Not for the blocking foul call, but because Clax has just, dug an elbow into Love's midriff. It's a successful challenge. This league does no sense in those back-to-back games. Teams always short of energy in the second game. I mean, yeah. I don't really understand how the scheduling works, but yeah, I mean, it severely disadvantages the team that are on the second night of a back-to-back as opposed to a team that's hasn't played for 2 or 3 days. We talked about closing the quarter strongly, and fair to say we have not done that. The previous time we played the Heat, our final few minutes... Oh, wait, we are getting the ball. It was unsuccessful. I don't really know what the verdict was there, to be quite honest. I probably should have put the volume up. Heat playing a zone, but Bridges was open for the 3. It rimmed out, and then Johnson nearly snuck up behind for the steal. However, the Heat do have possession. Martin in a switch. Richardson on the wing. Finds Love. Picked up by O'Neal in the post. Martin switches back. And they're looking for Love. Johnson rolled across and read the pass beautifully. It was just a little bit predictable. And now the Nets will just hold for 1. There is absolutely no rush here. We're going to look for best shot available. Bridges the layup for 2. And the foul, and Love is holding his knee. I reckon there was some knee-on-knee contact there. That has got to hurt. I mean, he's extending it. He's already got the compression sleeve over the top. Yeah, that's one that's got to hurt. Kevin Love is, for a living, I mean, if he earned a dime every time he put his body on the line, then he would be a millionaire because he does this every game. I don't know how many charges he's drawn this season, but he has to be up there because it always looks like he's getting in the right positions. He's willing to, take the brunt of a hit. Excuse me. So since Bridges missed his first 5 shots, he's gone 7 of 11 since, but he did miss, or he's missed like one of his last 3. Bridges scored and he converted the and one. It's a 16-point game, so how quickly games can swing. The Heat could have gotten it down to single figures, but instead they're down 16 on the back of a net steal and a 3-point play. Swider gets by the closeout. Of course, that was O'Neal, and Swider banks it in. So, typical O'Neal defense, ladies and gents, for you. Johnson chucked one up, and he hit back iron. That's going to be 3/4 time. I can take that. It's a 14-point lead going into the final quarter. And we look at the box score. As you can see, Bridges is leading the way. He's had the bulk of the shots. Claxton had a really electric start to the third quarter. He has 13 points and 5 rebounds. The man in the spotlight today, Royce O'Neal, fair to say he does not rock up most of the time, and he's absolutely given me the shits, even though the stats would indicate otherwise. Spencer Dinwiddie's been pretty good facilitating. And yeah, I mean, CJ had a really good first quarter and other guys have picked up the slack. Mikal hadn't scored a point. Until halfway through the second quarter, and look at him now, he's got 21. So that's a really good sign. He's played the equal most minutes out of any net. It's going to be interesting to see if we see some Watford or Dayron minutes down the stretch here. Yeah, that's really the gist of things. I think it's good that yet again we've got another game where a lot of players are contributing an even spread of scoring. So I think that's a good sign. The only downside is that we've had 4 offensive rebounds to their 9. They've had 17 second chance points to 4. I can't speak. I don't know why. So a lot of their rebounds are converting to points. So the rebounds we're giving up are basically right under the basket, and we're not doing a very good job of boxing out by the looks. We're shooting the ball really, really well, and we're being disciplined in keeping them off the line. They've sort of fallen into a pit that it's going to be difficult to crawl out of for the Heat. Offensive rebounding's been good. They've just been turning it over way too much. Nearly everyone who's played has had a turnover. So yeah, that is the situation for them. They've got 16 from Jaquez, who's been really good, and Caleb Martin's got 15. He's taken 14 shots though, so he hasn't been shooting it at an awful efficiency, but if those two are your top scorers, I mean, you're always going to be destined for for a pretty tough performance. So last quarter's going to start now as Dinwiddie lets the ball roll. Royce, Dinwiddie, DFS, Claxton, and CJ, the 5 on the floor. So starting 5 plus, Johnson, what a take to the cup. It is the starting 5, except in O'Neal, out Bridges. I mean, look at the disparity in skill and talent right there between those two names. Martin, Swider, Highsmith, Richardson, and Kane, the 5 on the floor for the Heat. Richardson, the step back 2. That is pretty smooth, and he cuts the lead back down to 14. So the Heat were facing a similar deficit last night, they were leading by this amount, and then choked the lead and lost in the Garden. So will they learn from experience? Oh, that's got to hurt. I don't know what's going on there. Bodies were... Mate, I don't know what's happened there. There's going to be a timeout called by Spoelstra. Highsmith has not gotten up. He is looking very much worse for wear, and I don't even think he was the player that was directly in the matchup, trying to contest that layup attempt by Spencer Dinwiddie. It's like he saw it in from the side, and it was just a bit of collateral damage there. So, a bit of a hush. I think he landed on his back. He looked really, really sore. Like he was a bit squirmish on the floor. He looks okay, but I don't think he'll play again tonight. At this stage of the game, you probably don't want to run the risk with 16 or so minutes to play. Let's have a look. So Dinwiddie shoots the layup. Jamal Cain is right there. Highsmith actually came across to help, and he landed on his back. It's almost like he got tunneled by his own man, and he's limping, and he looked sore in the back. Like, he looks a bit scuffed walking off. So that's going to be a stoppage. Very much in the right mind of Spoelstra to call a timeout there. Royce has just signed a massive sponsorship deal with McCain for their new line of absolute spuds. Honestly, a Royce O'Neal range, I mean, there'd be some good quality spuds, to be honest. Really good quality spuds. Living up to the name fully. Suns are playing the Knicks tomorrow. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Because I was so confused. So confused. Left hip. Yeah, it looks something along those lines. I mean, that just impacts you from the waist down. So, yeah, that's why he was limping off so badly. If Sharp will grow in minutes and numbers, if we're all healthy, bro, we've got a future, but an expert and athletic wing that could replace Royce is needed. Also a better creator than Spencer. I don't think Spence gets enough credit for what he can do facilitating-wise. Rebounds are not anymore a big issue about the past, or like how the past was, despite being stagnant sometimes. But with Johnson and Ben healthy, finally we've got two bodies for that. I mean, I don't think it's Johnson. I just think it's more concerted team effort to get the rebounds. And we're seeing the benefits of that. It's been good to watch the rebounding efforts this season. We've very rarely been blown out on the rebounding front, which is a really positive sign. But yeah, like to go back to Dinwiddie and his playmaking, there's been a number of games this year he's been pushing 8, 9, 10 assists. So I think that's a really, like, I don't think we give him enough credit for that. Like, a few years ago in his first stint here, he was very much, like, he was hungry for a lot of shots. And sometimes his facilitation could have been questioned, but, you know. Yeah. So, you know, like, yeah, I think like he's shown a lot more improvement in that area. I think within a new system that has a number of different players that can score the ball more adequately. Another steal here for the Nets. I think it was CJ that time who ends up with it, but Dinwiddie with the presence. And now Johnson will look for Finney Smith in the corner, back to Johnson, and now back to Dinwiddie. Johnson relocates to the wing. Nice little move. But he was well left, and a rebound for Martin. So down 16, 10 or so minutes to play. And the Heat are running basically their third string as a number of players who haven't gotten time. Martin was open for 3. It hit back iron, but he's got the long rebound and he knocked it down on the second crack. So a lot of ball watching. Wait, was his toe on the line again? I think it's his jumper, because that's like the second time this game that, like, it's looked like he shot the 3, but like his weird ass shooting motion has like sent him inside the line. Dinwiddie, good cut, Finney Smith, and he scores over 2 players who were trying to contest that. Nice little two-handed throwdown and a good dime by Dinwiddie. I mean, I just said that Dinwiddie's facilitation has been much improved. That's showing it on full display. O'Neal's going to push the pace. Hand off to Johnson on the wing. Dinwiddie Corner for O'Neal. Pump fake. Drive. Good wraparound pass. Bit more passing around the perimeter. That's an interesting pass to Clax. Oh my goodness, the passing! Oh shit, O'Neal, you were shit. For all that passing, that deserved a good look. And O'Neal's fucking airballed the 3. Come on now. What a letdown. So, Mikal checks back in. O'Neal, of course, stays in. Claxton's gone off. I don't understand his obsession with playing small ball. There's nothing wrong with what Claxton has done in this game. In what world does he think O'Neal is a better fit? You want a smaller lineup because of more versatility and matchups. You can do that with Claxton. I don't get it. Rebound, Finney-Smith. Dinwiddie. High screen O'Neal and Finney-Smith. Martin picks up Dinwiddie on the outside. Finney-Smith, good rollover by the Heat. Back to Dinwiddie on the wing. Gets by the closeout. O'Neal puts the ball on the floor. Back to Dinwiddie. The 3 is off. It's back on, but Bridges, offensive rebound, and he couldn't hit the baseline J. So, still a 16-point game. O'Neal with the steal. Jovic couldn't weave through. It's a 2-on-1. The pass to Bridges. He's blown another layup. Johnson with the rebound. He got stripped of it. And a rebound for the Heat. Or a steal, whatever you want to call it. Richardson will drive. The scoop is good. And it's down to 14. And the Nets will call a timeout. I mean, it's not like we've really let the game get away from us, but the Heat, like, have just managed to linger and hang around and just be this pesty sort of opponent that just remains, basically. We've got to ensure we close this one out. I mean, there's a long, long way to go. And plenty of time for the Heat to go on a run. I want to see us tidy up our final minute in quarters. Too often we do stupid stuff. I mean, yeah, incredibly avoidable stuff. We are the very responsible for. Yeah, at quite a few stages. Our players are prone to that sort of shit. Like, they're not superhuman like some of the quality players that we have in the league. That really are just devoid of all mistakes. Clax can't shoot threes, so he's out. Well, that's probably the explanation. We want spacing. But, like, to be honest, they've got Jovic as the big. Like, just use him. Use him to capitalize on that advantage. He's a rookie. He's going to foul a ton. Especially if Clax, does a little bit of handling and maneuvers his way to the rim. I can't imagine Jovic is going to, have a nice, peaceful bliss day at the office when he's got to pick Clax up, who's much improved in the post, with his handle, that sort of stuff. Yeah, but fair bit of time to go still. If you are enjoying, make sure to drop a like on it and subscribe as well. We'll be back in a few days' time for the final in-season tournament game. The first iteration of the new experiment, I guess you could say, by the NBA. And if we do win that game, we will be top of our group. But that's provided we win the game by at least 14 points against the Raptors. So we will be there for that. If you want to tune in, make sure to hang around or stay tuned. So you can stay notified for when I go live next. There's also a donate button if you're feeling super generous and you enjoy the streams and you feel like it deserves something more. You're more than welcome to do that. Any donations are appreciated. So you're not obligated. If you'd like, you can. If you don't want to, you don't have to. It's really that simple. Simple mechanism. Alrighty. So the situation is this. It's a 14-point game. The Nets have been in command basically, well, since the first quarter. Jason Sudeikis is in attendance tonight, Mr. Ted Lasso. So, quality actor, that guy. Bridges in the middle. That's a foul. Richardson will put his hand up and say that's my bad. And it will be the Nets on the side, triggering in through Spencer Dinwiddie. 5 on the floor is how we started the game, except Claxton out, O'Neal in. Bridges, high screen, Finney-Smith. Back to O'Neal. Got 2 to shoot. Dinwiddie's going to have to put one up, and he knocks it down. I mean, Lowry couldn't do anything about that. Dinwiddie's got a little bit of a cheeky smile on his face as if to say, well, I did not intend that, but I'm going to claim it as if I did. Jovic, looking for a pass, is going to take on O'Neal, though. He's in an isolation, and of course O'Neal is hit with a foul, and it's going to be on the shot 100%. That is just next level stupidity of the highest degree. So, 2 shots coming up here, I believe, for Jovic. Yep. Like, that's just so next level dumb. Jovic is short on the first. I mean, if you're looking at it from a Heat perspective, it's a good thing you're getting some reps in for your younger players. Like Jovic. Jamal Cain's gotten some run. Hucker's obviously getting extended time. And then also Swider's gotten a bit of time. So you're getting some good minutes into the younger players of the future for the Heat. Which, I mean, they're going to be better for the experience. Johnson on the catch. The 3 is off. And it was a good contest. O'Neal just completely discarded. I think it was Huckers, who was trailing the play now, but he's back in it now. Lowry picked up by O'Neal. The switch. And now Jovic will shoot over the top and miss. And a rebound by Finney-Smith. Dinwiddie will slow down the tempo. I mean, time is on our side. Bridges. High screen O'Neal. Bridges drive. And he was fouled on a bump. It's going to be a foul on the floor, though, because Bridges was not going up. He was looking for that pass on the kick out. Jovic will be the guy who's hit with the foul. And we have a good 6 minutes to play. It's going to be important we close this one out. Obviously, you don't want it to be too... I guess that's probably a part of why Clax is getting less minutes tonight. You know, we're playing second half of a back-to-back tomorrow. O'Neal pump fake is 97% on threes. Oh, wow. Finney-Smith, nice putback too. In isolation, he's not 97% on threes. I mean, O'Neal and shooting the 3 well. Haha, you're funny. But when he does pump fakes, the percentage of him scoring the ball from a pump fake is severely larger. O'Neal actually gets the steal here, but typical O'Neal experience, he just throws it away again. What do you expect? Richardson, corner for Huckers, dared to shoot, probably had it on offer. Instead, he gave it to Richardson. He was short, and Jovic hit with another foul as he was going for the reach. Going for the steal. Picked up the reach. Martin checks back in. And it's Cain to the bench. Yeah, O'Neal, when he shoots a 3 after a pump fake, the percentage of it going in is severely higher than if he didn't do it. But obviously that miss before was the 3% that he misses. Finney-Smith, great cut by Johnson. And there you go, fully on display. The nice little bit of off-ball movement. Yet again, that's been a byproduct of a huge amount of his points today, I do feel. This is another good scoring game by CJ. He's backed up a 20-point game last game with basically another 20-point game today. So nothing but positives you can take away from that. CJ, again, he's got Jovic on him. It's a one-on-one. And now he passes to his twin in Bridges. 4-3. It is good again. And it's now a 21-point lead. It's been a very, very quiet 21-point lead, to be honest. Hasn't felt that way. Martin weaves his way to the cup. And there is a foul. I think O'Neill's picked it up. Who would have bloody thought? And it's going to be Martin at the free throw line. So we talked earlier today about not knowing who is going to be the facilitator for the Heat. I don't think they've been really too troubled by that because it's more like a team system. Just players fill the void. There's not really one set player in any game, even with their stars, their superstars that, you know, always are like going to shoulder the load. It's always varying game by game. But like in a game like today, you needed someone who could reliably score, and you needed multiple of them as well. If you couldn't get the stops, I mean, they were turning the ball over a ton, so they weren't doing themselves any favors there. Good take by DFS. He scores off the window for 2, and we're in the final 4 minutes of the game. The lead is 20. But yeah, like the Heat scoring 88 points is just a byproduct of them just not having the personnel to really get it done. It's really that simple. That's another missed 3 by the Heat. Armani Brooks is in the game. That's a weird sub because we still have CJ and DFS in and Dinwiddie. So that's 3 starters, but we also have Brooks in, who's barely played. Another blown layup by Jaquez. Richardson the offensive rebound, and he gets the 2 to go. So Heat crack 90. I said pre-game we shouldn't be conceding any more than 90, so I guess I could consider this a pretty, well, decent defensive performance given the circumstances. I mean, it doesn't say too much about our defense given who the Heat have been playing today, but I mean, you've got to get the job done, and we've done well in that respect. Those who are enjoying, make sure to drop a like and subscribe. We're in the closing stages of this one. We'll have a nice little post-game as well to wrap things up. So if you want to hang around for a nice informative post-game, if you have any questions about the game, if you have any post-game thoughts, I'm obviously very receptive to all of that. So if you just want to vent, if you're a Heat supporter, or, you know, talk a little bit about Nets, then go ahead. We'll be doing a nice little post game for 5 to 10 minutes, and then we'll be heading off. Obviously, a little bit of an earlier start, so I'm not in as much of a rush to, you know, leave. So, given we won't be doing the Bulls game tomorrow, I think it's only necessary that we do a little bit of a longer post game to compensate and look ahead at that Bulls game and see the importance of that game. Third game this season where all 5 starters have ended in double figures. The other 2 games against Dallas, and Miami. Bridges and Johnson, the twins, combining for 42. And then you've got Finney-Smith and Dinwiddie, those 2 combining for 30. So, I mean, to be fair, like Kevin Durant scores 42 and Kyrie Irving scores 30, in essence. You put it that way. Finney-Smith is still playing. I don't know what he's doing still in the game. That wasn't Johnson. That was Watford who scores the push shot. So we still have Johnson, Finney-Smith in. We're playing the second night of a back-to-back tomorrow. What are you doing playing these guys still? Jaquez on the wing. He's picked up by Finney-Smith. He cannot get rid of him. And he, in the end, chucked up a very tough shot. So testament to Doe's defense there. And now Watford will pick up his dribble, give it to Brooks, and now O'Neil. Johnson goes baseline and shoots and is fouled, and he will shoot two more shots. But, like, I'm pretty sure we have a Derek debut! Derek! 0-0 off, O'Neil. 0 on, Derek. We have a Derek sighting. And I expect a nice little crowd reception. Nice warm reception. Tariq! Whoop! So the rookies are in. Clowney hasn't even played in the NBA yet. And, I mean, Clowney's been really good in the G League. Johnson made 1 of 2. So this is a nice little wholesome ending. Tariq, you know, getting a good old go. Swider for 3 is short. Long rebound by the Heat. Mate, we had 5 players running, all with the same idea. Like, they were all ready to run the break, but not one of them had decided, I actually need to grab the basketball to run the break first. It is, well, we're within the final minute of the game, or final 2 minutes, I can't count. But we're within the final stages. Tariq, Watford, Brooks, Clowney, and Sharp will check in. Johnson is done, and well, this is cool. I think Tariq's going to be a really good player. He's going to be far better than Royce O'Neal. Fucking hell, like that. Like, the minute we can get Tariq Whitehead playing regular minutes in place of Royce, I think we're going to be far better for it. And obviously, a lot of teams look at plays like Royce O'Neal, especially contenders, and are like, well, you know, we want this guy. We're going to give up some assets for him. So, like, we can afford to get the assets in return and give up a rotational player if we've got a rotational player to replace him. And Tariq Whitehead hopefully can fill the void in that respect. So 111.92, Tariq is into the game for his first minutes, and he looks like a player that's got no VC. Like, because he's got no shooting sleeve. What the hell is Martin doing playing full court press? And it was actually effective because we got hit with an 8-second violation, couldn't get it past the backcourt. Watford was harassed every step of the way. And the Heat will get possession now. But yeah, like, Tariq's got no accessories, dude. He's like Cam Thomas. No accessories. No leg sleeves, no arm sleeves, nothing. Even Clowney. Clowney, like, he's got the headband, but he's got, like, no accessories either. And the headband's out of necessity. It's not just for show. Kane lost the ball, got it back. Good cut by Jovic. And he was blocked, I think, by Whitehead. So Watford into the paint. Give Whitehead a look. He's going to drive it. Layup. And he was fouled. So he's going to have a crack at his first NBA points in his first minute of NBA action. So yeah, he was fouled on the arm there by, I believe it was Swider. Could have been Jovic as well. I mean, they're both white, so sort of, I mean, if I don't get the player face, it's sort of difficult to differentiate. Anyway, Tariq misses the first, so he may have to wait a little bit longer. The second is good. And he gets his first point, and the Nets bench, standing ovation for him. Get around him. Swider for 3, that's good. And we are back on the winners list, ladies and gents. Back on the winners list. Watford, Clowney and Whitehead, the 2 draftees in the corners. Watford will drive it, get into the paint, shoot the 2, it's off. Brooks with the offensive rebound to roll it back out. Drive. Shot by Brooks, that is a wild layup, and that's off. And a drive, a Euro. Watford is going to be hit with the foul, and the Heat get the shot to go as well. So 97-112, final minute. Jamal Cain, a nice little Euro. I feel like Watford's, he looked planted there, but Kane's going to get the free throw anyway. Don't matter. Rebound by Sharp after the miss on the free throw attempt, and Sharp is just going to bring it up. Clowney's going to pass it off to Sharp. Mate, I want to see the rookies get a shot up. Brooks is instead. It's off. Clowney chased it up, but unfortunately, we weren't able to secure. 3 by Swider is off again. He just keeps on jacking him up. A rebound by Brooks. Watford. That's going to do it, I reckon. The Brooklyn chants ring around the arena. That is a win. And we are back on the winners list after a little 3-game hiatus. We just wanted to do this. We just wanted to get it. Wanted to get a few losses out of the way. But that's going to wrap it up. I expect the Heat to run out the clock. It's pretty good on the bench. The vibes are good. All smiles on the bench. 112.97. Surely Martin doesn't shoot it. Yeah. That's going to do it. 112.97 the final. It is a win. A win is a win. You know, you take those. Doesn't really matter how you get them. You can't really extract too much from the game because of the opposition we were playing. But what you can extract is it was a game that we needed to win, and we did. Let me just update the O'Neal MVP stats. As you can see, elite stats here. 4 personals in 29 minutes. Anyway, this is the box score for the team. It's good to see a number of players contributing in big ways. I mean, Cam Johnson played 35 minutes and was a plus 29, though closely trailing. With 16 and 5, he shot the ball very efficiently, especially from inside the arc. And it was good to see a number of players get to the free throw line. Overall, you can see, if I just go down a little bit, 20 of 23 from the line, so a far better mark than previous games. The turnovers, we kept that down, and were able to capitalize on a significant amount more that the Heat did have. Shot the ball well overall. It was good to see Mikal respond after a very slow start, and the first 18 minutes he didn't score a point. So Johnson started, but Mikal continued the run for the Nets and kept this team afloat and got us over the line. Dinwiddie was excellent. He had a double-double with 14 and 11 assists in 36 minutes. So I think games like these I can appreciate more than the games where he's like 26 points on 20 shots, because, it's enabling other guys to get the shots up. I'd rather Dinwiddie not take 20 shots. So that's sort of my perspective on it. But then, there were some good contributions in there today. The rebounding edge was 2 in the way of the Heat, but that was because we gave away a ton of offensive rebounds. You can see for the Heat, a valiant effort. But these are this box score is all the telltale signs of, a team that is shorthanded. A lot of turnovers because of a lack of cohesion and a fair amount of inexperience. The free throw number was down. The shooting splits weren't great to look at. The offensive rebounding indicated a bit of hunger and tenacity. But look, you just look at that box score and there's just not really anything doing anything. Caleb Martin scored 22 on good efficiency. And he played 30 minutes. But a 22-point outing, by itself is not going to do much. Then, Jaquez was really good until the last quarter where, the shooting sort of went into a bit of a slump. But outside of that, Jay Rich didn't shoot the ball well. Kyle Lowry, the same, who started the game well, and then he just sort of went into a pit as well. And then Cole Swider wasn't too bad. Kevin Love had 10 rebounds, but, they just didn't have enough firepower. Simply put, and we had a focal point. They didn't, and it really showed in the vastly different looking offenses in a game like this. I mean, we can discredit the win as much as possible, but we also just have to say that was a game where the opportunity presented itself. I mean, the same thing happened against the Hawks, and we weren't good enough to get the job done. we gave away 147 points to a team on the second night of a back-to-back. And that was amongst a number of bad shooting performances for the Hawks from their key players. It's just like we didn't have we had a 45-point game from Bridges as well. So, yeah, it's tough. But I would like to see us score more points off turnovers, 18 points off 18 turnovers. I'd like to see that number a little bit higher, but it's good we forced 18 anyway. Points in the paint pretty good. Fast break points only 11, so a fair bit of half-court offense going on, but I think that's a good thing that, the offense didn't look too unstable. Even though we were playing in the half-court, there was quite a bit of off-ball movement going on, and I think that's testament to Spencer Dinwiddie facilitating and players like Cam Johnson, who's really come into their element in recent games. A lot of his scoring has come off the back of some good off-ball movement, some good cuts, some good off-ball screens to free him up. That's all incredibly important. So, yeah, and 11 steals, 9 blocks. That's a really good defensive performance and something you need to capitalize on, especially when the Heat are turning the ball over and they are, they're running a shorthanded team. You can't give them the opportunity. You can't give them the false hope or the optimism they need to really thrive off that chip on your shoulder kind of mentality that shorthanded teams tend to possess. We will look at the chat and then we will close things out. Any estimated time of arrival on Cam Thomas's return? Not sure, but I would suspect it's going to be in the next week or so, probably before the in-season tournament shebang. Yeah, I think so. Because, I think about 4 or 5 days ago, they said Cam Thomas was getting involved in on-court activities. Ben Simmons is a little bit further away from that. But obviously every day we move is a day closer to the return. Miami they didn't have the firepower. You're missing Hero, Bam, Butler, Robinson, all players that have torched us in the first 2 meetings. So it's not really one bit surprising that they couldn't do what they needed to do to get it done. Okay. Thanks for the support, guys, as well. Royce was pretty good last year. I don't know how many minutes he averaged, but he was good at shooting threes, wasn't he? He's not even bad at shooting threes this year. It's just everything else. Great call again. Really appreciate the channel. That is exactly the words we want to hear. It's O'Neal's not even shooting the ball bad. I just want to do a little Royce O'Neal watch here. Before we leave, we've got to do this. This is imperative. I think for all the Royce O'Neal discourse that I promote on this channel, we actually need to get to the bottom of what's going on here. So full shooting splits for Royce O'Neal. Okay, that's way too complicated. How do I go back? Okay, there we go. Here we go. So this season, here we go. He is averaging. So last year he was 38% from the field. Look at the shooting splits at Utah. So much better. So much better. He rocks up at the nets. He shoots the ball 39% from 3, which is actually a season, his best in a season. Rebounds are good. The turnovers, he had 3 personals in 32 minutes, which I guess is a little bit bad on the fouling front. Most turnovers, but that's also because he was averaging the most minutes. Scored the most points he's done in a season, but this year, he is shooting it so poorly, even though he's shooting 37% from the field, and it's because, inside the line, he's 25%. That is awful. That's why every time he gets into the paint, he's like Ben Simmons. We're talking about Ben Simmons having a fear of putting the ball up. Royce O'Neal, bro. He's not the, he is only good if he runs to the corners on a break. If he has the rock and he runs into the perimeter, inside the arc. What am I talking about? Into the restricted area. He actually just stunts everything like Ben Simmons, who tends to go downhill and then just like shoehorn it back outside. So, I mean, the fact that Royce is shooting better from 3 than the field just says a lot. It says a lot. Rebounding and assist numbers very similar, but like everything is similar. It's just like the fact that he does so many brain dead things, like that you can't really like fathom it. It's a roller coaster. Like, if there's one player that embodies watching the Nets, it's Royce O'Neal. Because like produces like one good play, and that's immediately juxtaposed with doing some completely brain dead shit. Like, he'll get a steal and then he'll just like piff a full court pass out of bounds 10 meters back, 10 rows back. So Royce has games just wait, hang on, I can't see it. Royce has his games just in and out. Like, let's go to the game log and just like really quantify this. So his last 2 games before this, his last 2 games before this, he had not scored a point, and then before that, like, he's had a number of like double-figure games. But like, he just like, look how many times, like, look at the difference between like the 3s he takes and the 2s he takes. Like, nearly every one of his field goals is a 3. Like, in the first game, only 2 inside. Dallas 2, Charlotte 2, Miami 1, Chicago 1. That game where he put up 15 shots, well, only 2 of them were from the interior. Then Milwaukee 1, LA 2, Boston didn't shoot a shot on the inside, Washington 1, Orlando 0, Miami 1, Philly was the first time he actually didn't shoot a 3 in a game, and then 1 for Atlanta. So, like, this guy is just a 3-point merchant, man. He is a 3-point merchant. He is the human embodiment of it. I keep Royce over Ben. I would rather Ben. Man, at least Ben can facilitate and actually rebound. Royce is soft when he tries to rebound. He can't, like, actually grasp the basketball with 2 hands. He's just really, like, flimsy for some reason. And then, like, facilitation, I actually nearly cringe every time I watch Royce try to actually, handle the rock and do something with it. It's like in the second quarter where he tried to do a spin move in the backcourt when we had a 2-on-1 in the backcourt. Like, all he needed to do, the ball was in dispute, just grab the ball with 2 hands and just pass it to Finney Smith. It's that simple. Dumb it down. Don't overcomplicate things, but the problem is with Royce, I don't think he knows how to do that. So, I don't think he knows how to correct it. So, it is what it is. But anyway, that is going to wrap it up. Thank you for tuning in today. A good turnout. I'd take Stephen Hawking over Royce. Oh, God. I mean, yeah, when it comes to just Royce and playing basketball, there's just something about it that really just makes the mind think. Like, you question your existence when you watch Royce play basketball. I'm just gonna wrap it up here though. Not really talk too much more. I digress. We will be back. We won't be back tomorrow. I've made that decision now. And he's dead. Yeah, exactly right. So, I mean, that's saying a fair bit about Royce, but no, it's all good fun. The banter's all good fun. It's all a part of the Nets watching experience. We will be back in a few days' time for another Nets watch party experience. But today was a good win, a needed win. It's one we had to win, and we did win. So every time we win, it's a good day. So thank you for tuning in, everyone. We will see you for well, for a big game against the Toronto Raptors in a few days. But until then, thank you. We will see you then. Stay safe until then. And yeah, bye for now.